So we're now looking at the part 3, section 3.0, which is going to be the array location for our system. So when we go down to 3.0, I'll pull it back up, our array location. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is have a aerial diagram. I like to use Google Earth on this one, but obviously there's any number of very good aerial photography that you can get an image of the location. Then using paint or any number of methods that you like to use, put a box, a grid, some sort of indication that will show you the proposed array location. Now sometimes what would be nice is to have an arrow pointing to it. Now in this particular picture it was pretty definitive by the caption of figure 2 and the bright yellow box that this is the proposed array location. The next thing is you're going to want to draw an image of the site and the proposed location of where it wants to go. What I've done in this particular instance is I used Visio to create this drawing, and I used red to denote where the actual picture is. And let me see if I can't zoom in here and bring this larger, and it may work a little better for us. And it's going to come off the screen, I know that, but here we go. What I really liked about this image right here is I included the combiner box. I noted that the conduit was run in the attic for this particular location, and it came down to the disconnect of the home. That gives you an overhead image of where this tree is located, where the array is located, and all the other stuff that we have mentioned in our system. So that's kind of what we've got going on here. It gives you an idea to see what's going on, and the reason for that is when we get table 3.2, the table here, you can then kind of use this as a guide to show you. Now you must use a drawing. Really do a good drawing. There's a number of tools that are available to you that are free of charge. I only use Visio because that was something I'm comfortable with. That does not mean you have to use that. When we get to table 3.2, this is going to be critical. As I mentioned in previous videos here, we cannot be experts unless we are an expert in the field. We cannot state some of these things. So for example, on the location that we have here, I was there at a day when they had a roofing company out that was starting to do the preliminary re-roof of the house. So I put on the estimated age and the condition of the roof. I understood that the homeowners in this particular case was redoing the roof structure, and when the installation of the PV was going to be done, it would be viewed. So what you really want to do is be able to determine how much square footage is available. Now, in this 3,200 square foot, this 3,200 square foot of available space was just this east portion of the roof. So we may want to add later that this is the east portion of the roof. Now, this is a bit of a situation that you may or may not want to have. So I just left it as 3,200 square foot, and I left it as that. There could have been an install here or here, but with the shading of the tree, that might not have been a good idea. Look, we just want to give the installers and the homeowner the best information that is possible. Use your gauge to determine the pitch of the roof. In central Illinois, it's very common to find 412s, 512s, and some steeper pitched angles, but really the 412, 512 in most homes and neighborhoods tend to follow along that range. Asphalt shingles in central Illinois is pretty common. By code, you will never see more than 2 layers of shingle. There's just some stuff that you want to do and note about that. So note the condition. In this case, the homeowners actually pointed to where some rot of the wood was underneath the shingles, and all of that's going to be replaced. So I noted on here the roof was being repaired, it was going to be replaced, and I had some images. Now in the next part, you're going to want to have a structure, a photo of the roof structure. I was unable to get a roof structure for this location, but that is something that in the future you're going to want to have possibly put on there, because that will give the installer some better understanding of what that deck structure is. Now, this report does not include a ground mount, and if we want a ground mount, we will actually have to have some items that are going to be listed for ground mount that may not be utilized here in the roof mount. Be aware that those are existing. There are some additional caveats we need to do, but that's something I don't need to worry about. And that's going to get us to the balance of system.